All right, back to work. Weekend's over. I know. Happy daylight savings time to you. I think it's about that time of day. It might be an hour early, might be an hour late. I'm kidding with you guys. No matter what time of day it is, it's time to get back to work. Time to get ready for Tuesday's trading session. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're rested up. We got a busy week ahead of us. It's Monday evening. It's the 14th day of March, 2022, kicking off quadruple witching week here on this video newsletter. As always, my name is Joseph. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching for the first time tonight, great to have you with me. My job tonight is to help us find the best trades, setting up for Tuesday's trading session. And I got a great video in store for you guys tonight. Charts are all ready in the background. As you can see, we got the oil, we got the Nasdaq, and we got the S&P locked and loaded for some pretty darn good trade setups we're tracking for tomorrow. I'm going to cover all my favorite trades in tonight's video. I'll also cover some stuff to avoid tomorrow to help keep yourself out of trouble, whether you're trading on your own or whether you're trading with us tomorrow in our members trade room. I've got a lot I'm going to cover here tonight on this video. Before we jump in though and get this party going, got a lot of great trades we're tracking for tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. I publish all the good stuff, all my best trade ideas every evening on this video newsletter, every evening during the week. Make sure you subscribe. A lot of this stuff is very time sensitive, so make sure you hit that little bell icon so always get notified when I publish something new. Also, any questions for me tonight, don't be shy. Post those questions in the comment section. I would love to get questions answered. I do personally answer all the questions myself, so don't be afraid to ask questions in the comment section. And if you guys enjoy the video, if you tune in every evening, if you like this video as much as I enjoy making it, do me a favor, hit that like button for me here tonight. Always appreciate you guys carving some time out here, even after the daylight savings shift. I know this time of the week is always tough, right? We lose an hour of sleep, so we're going to make it worth your time here for tonight. But enough of the intro though, right? Time is ticking. Let's get ready for Tuesday. Where's the easy money going to be on Tuesday's trading session? Well, as you can see right now, we have pretty much everything is bearish right now. Bearish on the S&P, bearish in the Nasdaq, and for the most part, right, bearish here on crude oil. We have some pretty cool kind of scenarios right now because I've got my eyes on some really interesting levels of resistance here. I would love to short some bounces here right now, really on all three of these markets, on the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the crude oil. Now, all three of these charts are similar, but they all have a little bit of difference to them. And so make sure you watch the entire video here tonight because I'm going to be putting some different learning opportunities, talking about different types of setup variations throughout the entire lesson here tonight. So if you're watching for the first time tonight, I'm going to really keep it spicy as we go through the rest of the video. So no matter which market you trade, if you want to learn more about this strategy, you're going to love the entire video here for tonight. I would also be aware of some breakouts. Now, when it comes to breakouts going lower, you'll notice we've got big time support levels right below us right now. Whenever I have a lot of major support levels right below me in a bear market, there's kind of this one basic kind of principle I always try to follow. And so we'll talk about kind of that principle and how we're going to trade it. We'll talk about some actionable trades to look for off of that tomorrow, because if kind of looking at the chart tonight, I would think the traps, right? Some of the curveballs for tomorrow are going to be if this market rolls lower here. And speaking of curveballs, there are just as many buying opportunities right now off of these support levels too. So I want to keep you guys out of trouble. Don't chase this thing going lower because there may be some nice bounces off those lows as well. And then obviously, right, with these big moves we saw today, I am not shying away from buying reversals here either, so I have no problem buying a reversal. But tonight we'll talk about what a pullback looks like and how to know when a pullback turns into a reversal. So whether you're bullish, you're bearish, whether you trade the Nasdaq, the S&P, or crude oil, I'm going to make sure you guys have a good road plan for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, you might want to put a helmet on for this part of the video tonight. They got a lot. This is a busy week ahead of us as we look at for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, is Tuesday, the 15th. It's not quite St. Patty's Day just yet. We're almost there though, right? What Tuesday, March the 15th here for tomorrow, we have some of the biggest news of the morning coming tomorrow morning. That PPI report at 8:30 Eastern time. Now, I'll tell you, some of the analysts that I'm seeing right now are calling for a 10% PPI number. And of course, that'd be year over year inflation. We saw the CPI report last week. That was what? Almost 8%. Will we see the PPI number break double digits? That is one of the big events that we have here this week. This will definitely be the big news of the day tomorrow, assuming obviously we don't get any more headlines out of Ukraine, right? Today we heard about, will China come in and support the Russians in their invasion? Will that force the hand of the West or NATO to come and support Ukraine? There's a lot of stuff still going on. We're hearing rumors there could be potentially some peace negotiations going on. So I'll tell you, this could get really bad this week, or it could get really good this week. It seems like this could be either very hot or very cold in Ukraine. And so this is definitely something that is kind of lingering overhead all week this week. Will be that next big shoe to drop or big development coming out of Ukraine. But all things equal, if we don't get any new major developments out of Ukraine overnight or tomorrow morning, this PPI number is definitely going to be on our radar here for tomorrow. Now, this is just the appetizer. This is a little aperitif tomorrow, right? Because then we go right into retail sales, right? We go into the FOMC announcement on Wednesday. Oh, no, we're not done yet. We've got possibly a rollover on oil on Wednesday as well. Then we got the Philly Fed on Thursday, and then don't forget Friday is quadruple witching. So just a ton of news here. Now, obviously, we're going to focus on tomorrow right now, but make sure you stay in touch here this week because we'll talk about how to trade the Fed announcement in tomorrow night's video, how to make some money off that Philly Fed on Thursday, and how to trade it safely on quad witching. So we are just getting this week started here. Tomorrow, though, PPI number 8:30 Eastern time. Do not be late to your desk tomorrow because obviously that number will kick us off nice and early tomorrow morning in our trade room. Now, back to our charts here. Got the S&P, got the Nasdaq, and we got the oil ready. Glad to see you are ready right along with us. Let's jump first here into the E-mini S&P. And again, I'm gonna be talking about different setups and keeping it kind of variation throughout the entire video tonight. If you're serious about your trading, there's gonna be learning opportunities throughout the entire lesson here tonight. So make sure you stay tuned and watch the entire video. What's going on right now with the S&P? How would you, if somebody asked me, hey Joe, give me a 10-second review of what happened here on the S&P, I would say we began in a range, we popped up, and we finished in a trading range. Very simple. Now, when it comes to ranges, what you always want to remember is first of all, the most recent range is the most important range. Okay, so this range down here is the most important range. Second of all, ranges act like magnets, right? So this area now, this 4160 to 4165 level becomes a magnet. The bears have all of the momentum, and so it's expected right now that sellers are going to be looking for areas of resistance to sell above that range and use that range as a magnet. And so, of course, you can see I found some channels up here. I got some prior levels up here. You can kind of see what I'm getting at, right? This is a pretty easy, I think pretty easy idea here. What is really interesting about this chart though is if you look left, you'll notice how, right, all of these lows are kind of stacked up right there. So the market obviously had a hard time getting through. Now it breaks through. Come on, everybody would love to sell right off that area right now. Or if they can break through that area, this is where we can get almost like that vacuum right back up into that range above us. So get the really a very important clue here on this S&P. Another big factor here right now would be this area down here. Now this is where the S&P and the Nasdaq have the biggest differences, and you'll see this in the Nasdaq here in a second. We have really for the most part a lot. Look at this. We got a big support level here, got a big support level there, right, as we go. Major low right there, major low way back there, right? So these are not small levels. These are not small levels, right? For the S&P to get back around 4,100, maybe 4,000 eventually here, we've got to push through these major areas of support. And like I mentioned in the introduction, there really is kind of one key factor that you kind of think about in a situation like this, and that is if we're going to go lower here, there are going to be a lot of buyers that would love to buy this thing right back up, right? That's obviously something we're going to be worried about. But at the same time, too, as we go lower, think about how we can go lower and then grab that pop up and sell it back down again, right? So it's really getting that move down and then up, right? And then selling into it here. I think, and we talked a lot about this last week on this video newsletter, I think there's some great opportunity to buy off of these lows and then right as it's coming into resistance now, selling it right back down again, right? Trading both sides of this market. So this support level down here, I think, is another really big part. And again, this is one big difference. The Nasdaq only has a very little bit of support left below it. Right, it's very thin ice in the Nasdaq right now. The S&P may be more like a bounce up, back down, bounce up, right, back down. That's going to be a big part of my game plan here for tomorrow. So again, this is kind of what I'm seeing being some of the biggest factors on the S&P. The bears definitely have control right now. They want to sell off areas of resistance up here, right? The bears want to sell breakouts going lower. How about the buyers? The buyers have a pretty easy job, believe it or not, right? The buyers would love to buy that bounce right off the low. The buyers would love it if they could grab hold of this and rip this thing back up into that big range, right, that we mentioned earlier on here in the overview. So that's what's kind of guiding me here on this chart. Now, how do we make our money off it, right? Where are the entry setups going to be here on this? Now, you'll notice I've marked up a few of these sell zones, right? One right here and one right here. There's a rising support trend line right here, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of them here on the S&P, and then we'll go over to the Nasdaq as well, right? Because you'll see a lot of this will be kind of overlapping on the Nasdaq. First things first, if all we get, because you can see this little trend line coming in down here, right? There's plenty of resistance there. There's no shortage of resistance there. I would rather get up into this area personally, right? That'd be what I'd like to get here, but I'm not in the prediction business. I'm in the reaction business. So with that support trend line, let's say we go up, right, into our first sell zone up overhead here. And you can see, right, it may not make it all the way up into that channel here. In this situation, momentum is great for the bears. We have that rising support trend line. So the best way to sell with a relatively small pullback, right, where you're kind of not able to really get off of these lows, is with a trap pattern, right? We call these traps. So basically, buyers try once, buyers try twice. We get just a little bit above that prior high. One of my favorite kind of techniques on this is to draw a trend line off that low, bring it up around that high, try to combine the little hidden channel, right, and short that trap on the way down here. Don't forget, shallow pullbacks, right? Shallow pullbacks. We're not getting up inside this big area up here. We wait for those traps here to make sure we're selling as high as we can. Where would our targets be? Targets will definitely be at the low of that range, right? And then again, I would take a big chunk of that off right at that low there. What if we make it all the way back up into this area now? Yeah, see, this becomes a whole lot easier now, right? Now we have a little more space to breathe here with that trend line being a lot lower here. Now what you want to do is you want to try to rope in those buyers, right? Rope in those buyers. Remember, we're hoping these buyers are going to come in and try to buy that pullback, right? And we'll talk about how to trade this here in a second. If they buy that pullback now and they fail, where are their stop losses? Yeah, stops are right there, right? So now we can use what we call a failure pattern to sell it back down in. We wait for the pop up, right? We let the buyers try to get long. And we literally think about where is the pain? Where are the stops for those buyers? And we use those failure patterns, right, to sell it back down. Now, I have a lot of variations of this setup. So I'm going to be talking about variations of this as we go deeper into this video, right? This is the basic version of it. I'm going to kick this up a few more notches as we go later in this video, so you better not quit on me here yet. Now, that's the failure off that high. Again, where's my targets going to be? Back down into that range. Absolutely, right, is where the targets are going to be on that short. Again, up into major areas of resistance with enough space to get away from those lows and really attract in those sellers as we go. Now, at this point, how do we trade a reversal here on this? Right? At what point does a pullback turn into a reversal? Well, now we got to get up off these lows, and the buyers have to hold the pullback here, right? If the buyers can hold that pullback and really jump. Now, I'm going to warn you on this. We see a lot of times where it looks very convincing, right? It looks very convincing. We see a lot of times where it really shoots up. Okay, I'm going to talk about a really strong pop in the Nasdaq, right? So you better not quit on me here yet, right? Strong shot up, right? They hold that pullback. I don't care how strong that first leg is. They have to hold this. If they can't, we're looking for that failure right back down to that trading range again. Remember, ranges act like magnets. But if the buyers can hold it and pop and really jump off that moving average, now we make out our new channel or a new trend line off the high. We find our channel off the low, right? So I draw that. I always draw them off the new highs. You'll get much better results by drawing bull channels almost backwards, right? So you draw them off the highs, you bring it down to that low, and then one of my favorite entries off this is that first, what we call the first channel test, right? The first time we pull back to the low of that channel. Now, this could be a trap entry, right? Below a prior swing. This could be a failure entry below the moving average. It could be a pullback entry off the moving average. Now, guys, I know a lot of you guys have already taken the free trading course, right, on our website. You've learned about 1, 2, 3 reversals, and you know what I mean by that first test, trap, failure, and pullback. So you guys already know the rules. If you are one of the few people, though, watching right now that have not taken that free quick start trading course, I cover the entire roadmap of how to find the right support and resistance, how to find the entry setups, how to use simple rules to qualify them, and I provide like hundreds of examples of them as part of that free course. If you haven't taken that free course yet, you definitely got to grab that link. I'll put a little link up here for you in the upper right hand corner. You're going to love that free trading course because it'll give you a full roadmap. If you're sick and tired of missing the best trades each day, or you're taking too many losses, or you're making too many mental mistakes, that free trading course will be a lifeline for you because it'll give you a roadmap to follow, the same roadmap that we use every day in our trade room. So next time when I say 1, 2, 3 reversal and first test is the best test, you're going to know exactly where to get in, how to get in, and how to make some money off it on your own. Now, where's my target at this point? My target, remember this. We know the target wants to go back to retest these highs, right? We know that's the big objective, as we say. But what you want to remember is oftentimes the first leg and the third leg will be almost identical, all right? You'll see examples of that here in the Nasdaq here in a second, right? So when we get that long off the low of that channel, and you're going, okay, my final objective's up here. Let's make sure we fine-tune that exit, measure that leg. That will give you that real fine-tuned target so you know exactly where to take your money out of this trade here. Now, guys, I've got a few more of these reversals. All right, I got 3, maybe 4 more reversals we'll talk about here tonight on this video. These are the basics right now. We're gonna kick this up a couple notches as we go into the Nasdaq. All right. Now, how do we trade as we go lower here? Right, as we go lower. First of all, this is a trading range. So as we go lower right now, like I mentioned earlier, I can buy off of this low. Okay, I can buy off of this low, but here's the problem. We're very bearish right now. So whenever I want to buy off the low, I like to use what we call a crown reversal or a 2-try failure. I'm waiting for bears to try a couple times down here, right? We get that big low right there. Big strong move down, let them retest that low, and then now we start to rope in the bears. The bears try once. Right? We go a little bit higher. The bears try twice. Now, once those bears try a couple times, we have a range above us, and the bears are struggling. Think about where their stops are, right? Their stops now are right above that high. What we'll do now is we'll look for an entry going back up into that trading range by using that two-try failure pattern. All right, so again, they take out that low. They bears try once, bears try twice, all right? And then we got that two-try failure for that punch going higher. Now, one thing you want to be aware of is if it really punches down. If it really punches down, it's always best to wait for the retest and then look for the 1, the 2, and go back up from here. All right, so two-try failure for the jump back up into the range. I'm gonna kick this up a couple more notches on the next chart. All right, so you better keep on watching. I'm gonna kick this pattern up a few more notches here. Now, like I mentioned before, I think it's very, very likely tomorrow that we end up running lower. We get those bears coming in, right? Trying a couple times down here. We get that pop, right, up off the low. Now we've got the bears stuck. Short squeeze, right, going higher here. And then we come out and we find our new channel. We pop up. The buyers come in. Now, what's going to happen? The buyers try to buy it. We have all of this momentum now for the bears, right? Strong shot down, short squeeze off the low because bears don't want to sell low. And then, of course, the market pops up, right? When does this become a reversal, guys? It's a full reversal when they hold that pullback and run, right? This is a trap here for the buyers. This is a bull trap, right? Wait for those buyers to try into it and then grab, in this case, grab that failure into pullback combination, right? So again, two-try failure off the low. We then bounce hard, right? We bounce hard, not a reversal yet, right? Just a bounce off that low. I love that two-try failure. Then we rope in those buyers off the moving average, sell right into those stop losses, and again, right into that first pullback to that moving average, right? Two-try failure into a one-try failure because you're going with momentum now into that first pullback. And again, you're going to see a lot of examples, right, of how we apply these patterns. You'll see those examples in that free trading course. All right, guys, we are only scratching the surface right now on this. Again, I'm going to kick these up a few notches here as we go down to the Nasdaq here. So make sure you keep on watching for it as we go. So S&P get a pretty good idea here on the S&P. Let's talk Nasdaq though. All right, let's talk Nasdaq because Nasdaq's very similar here. But I think the Nasdaq has a little more potential to run in both directions, really. Now, why do I say that? Well, how would you describe the Nasdaq right now? It's very, very similar, as you can see, right? We had a range up here, a very strong breakdown into a new trading range. The most recent trading range is the most important trading range. It's a magnet. And as you can imagine, the sellers who control momentum right now, they would love to sell at an area of resistance. Oh, like this one, right? This beautiful hidden channel, right? The bears would love to sell in that area. The bears would love to sell kind of the underbelly, right? This area acts as support. We rush through it. You know people want to sell that, right? They want to sell that right now. So bears would love to sell short here, up off those areas of resistance here right now. At the same time, if we can pull and hold, then obviously this trading range up here becomes a really nice magnet for us as well, right? So the sellers have a great shot right now using some levels of resistance, right, to sell it back down again. And then as I mentioned before, if the buyers can hold this, right, we have a pretty good idea of where they want to go right now. At the same time, if we go lower, you can easily see, right, get a range down here. Let's say we go up, right, we come back down again. Absolutely, we can buy off that low, sell it back down again, a lot like on the S&P 500. I think one very big difference, though, as I mentioned repeatedly on the S&P chart, is that we really only have, look, We've now broken this big low down here, right? Remember, the S&P is still trying to get there. The Nasdaq's already broken through it. So I think the Nasdaq has a lot more potential for, we'll see what happens, obviously, but the Nasdaq has a lot more potential for it. Look at the space open down there. There's a lot of wide open space here. So if we keep getting more of this strong bearish going lower here, we could easily have some breakouts going lower. And so we may not get that kind of, we may not get that reversal into that short. Hopefully we do. That'd be great to play both sides of this market. like we mentioned on the S&P, but that may not be the case here for tomorrow. So we'll definitely talk about that and how to trade that here as well. So plenty of opportunities here right now on really both sides of this market. Now, one thing about the Nasdaq is that you'll notice we have a lower low in price. So unlike the S&P, where the S&P had the higher low, where the S&P has to watch out for that trend line with that trap, we don't really have that issue right now, the Nasdaq. What I want to do is, I would say on the Nasdaq, there's really kind of two types of pullbacks that you want to watch out for right now. One would be up into the first sell zone, right? If I can get up into this first sell zone, now momentum is pretty good for the bears here right now, and I can use a buyer failure into a pullback combination going back down into that trading range, right? Again, wait for it to pop up above the range, get into an area of resistance, right? Rope in those buyers. It'll look a lot like this, where it pops up, the buyers try, and we literally sell right into those stop losses, right? So they pop up, moving average comes over, buyers say, oh, look at that, we're bouncing. No, remember, that range is a magnet now. Don't take the bait there. Let some other poor sucker buy that first pullback, and we can sell that, right, that failure into pullback combination back down to that range, and again back down, right, to retest those lows here. That should be a pretty easy setup. Now, what we really hope we get, and this would also apply to the S&P as well, what we hope we get is a real strong pullback. I mean, guys, in all reality, this really could go as high, as this low from yesterday, right? Last Friday's kind of low down there. This really could go pretty high here. Again, what you'll notice is that as the market's been making these big moves down, right, we keep getting these big bounces, right, off the low. So this is a really big move down. We might get a pretty sharp bounce here. If it really bounces strong, what's the best way to short it now? Again, the assumption is the buyers have not held the pullback and jumped, right? Because if they do that, then of course this becomes a reversal, right? But at this point now, if they really, if it really spikes higher here, now what you want to do is you want to use that two-try failure, right? Get those buyers now to come in, let them try once, let them try twice, and then what you want to think about here now is again, where are those stop losses? Okay, where are those stops? Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit more of a juiced up variation of this in a second, right? We'll talk about some variation of this here in a second. But to keep it simple right now, again, if it really pops off this low, buyers try once, buyers try twice. Where's their pain, right? Think about where their pain is, and we sell into that pain. Now, as we go lower, this is what we love about deep pullbacks, is now as we go lower here now your job is not done. While the market begins to collapse back down to that low, now find a new channel, mark that trend line, find the channel, and then grab that, what was it called again? First channel test, right? It could be a trap setup, it could be a pullback setup, a failure setup, right? And again, we're shorting off that high here. So again, deep pullback. 2 tries here for the buyers, right? Let them try twice. Rope those bulls in. Sell right into those stops. And then as it begins to roll over, right, now you get all this wide open space below you now. Find that new channel. Draw it backwards off the lows. Bring it up around those highs and hit it off the high of that channel. Obviously, I'm just simply scribbling the chart right now. You'll see a lot of examples of those failure into first tests in that free trading class that I mentioned earlier. Okay, where's the target in this one? Yeah, back down to retest those lows here. All right, now at this point you're wondering, okay, Joe, so at what point, right, do we buy this? Well, again, we know if it pops up, if they hold it and jump, what's that called? A 1, 2, 3 reversal. We're buying off that low. And remember, the first leg and the third leg are very, very good targets. Okay, here's one more to consider. Okay, this again will also apply to the S&P 500. What if the market was to pop up and begin to grind, right? It doesn't pull back and jump. It kind of pops up and starts to grind as it goes higher. These can be kind of frustrating because you don't really get a pullback on it, and you're kind of waiting for it to pull back for you. How do you trade one of these? These are very common when you see a short squeeze, right? Where you see the sellers get caught, they get out, and the market kind of floats higher, right? You don't actually need any buyers to buy that. Okay, all you need in that scenario is for sellers to go, okay, we're done. And again, think about what could happen, right? This could be a peace treaty. This could be a good PPI number tomorrow, right? There's a lot of reasons why this could happen. So what I'm ready for, right? Plan your trades and then trade your plan. If it pops and grinds like that, now we simply mark up those highs, nice and tight. Okay, don't bother with these big channels like this. Okay, when it pops and grinds like that, draw that trend line nice and tight and then bring it all the way down to that major low. Okay, now look left. Find some prior swings. Get underneath those prior swings. Get underneath the moving average, trap pattern, failure pattern, pullback pattern, right? And then again, first leg, third leg are going to help you help you kind of fine tune that final exit. All right, guys, that makes sense, right? That makes sense here. Another reversal pattern I would keep on your radar here, and again, this will also apply to the S&P, will be a real strong pop. Right? But now, instead of pulling back and buyers once, buyers twice, now we pull back and we go higher with a higher high now. Okay? These are called two-try traps, we call them. Right? Really strong pop-up. Strong pop-up, shallow pullback. Okay? It doesn't pull back and jump, right? It's shallow pullback and makes a higher high. Right? The key here is that strong pop. Once that strong pop happens, that shallow pullback and that higher high, now that trap becomes a moneymaker. This is a great trade, right? We call these two-try traps, right? Strong move up, bears try once, bears try twice. We're buying into that second try here for those bears. If you can find one, find a channel, never hurts. Not required, right? But definitely never hurts. Okay, so now we've covered 3 different ways to buy it as it goes higher and 3 ways to sell it, right, as it goes higher as well. Now, let's say we go up. Right? Buyers try and fail. We end up back at that low now. Mission accomplished. Now what do? We watch. Do bears try twice? Right? Do bears try twice? And that buy off that low? That could easily happen here. Right? That could easily happen. Let's get rid of this. We bounce up. Right? Buyers come in. They try. They fail. We end up back down. Right? At these lows now. Right? Or we go through the lows a little bit. Right? Bears come in. They're trying to sell short, right? Once, twice. One of my favorite entries, or one of my favorite techniques of this, I mentioned I would kick this up a few notches here, right? So make good on that promise. The bears try once, bears try twice. Look for that little trap entry right there, right? You want it just below that little swing. Okay, another secret is draw a trend line off those highs, bring it down to that low, and grab the bounce off that trend line. Right? It's the same basic idea, right? It's 1 try, 2 try. But instead of waiting for the entry to get long into stops, right? You're looking for a support trend line, a swing line right there. That'll give you a nice, juicy early entry on that and almost double your profit on that trade. Okay, we call these crown reversals or 2-try failures with a trap. Now, here's one more thing you want to watch for here, right? Is as it goes higher here. If this reversal goes through the pendulum swing, remember pendulum swings, we'll talk about pendulum swings in a second on the oil. If we break through the pendulum swing basically means the amount we go below the range is the amount we go above the range. If we break through that pendulum swing area, right, let's say now we reverse, right, and the market really starts to punch going higher. Okay, now what we can do is find that new channel, mark off that high, mark off that low, and again, first test is the best test off of that low. Okay, make sense on that one? So again, there's no reason we can't buy off this low. But you got to really try to rope in those bears, right? Got to rope in those bears. 1 try, 2 try. Buy right into those stop losses off support levels with traps. Again, think about the pendulum swing. You're going to learn a lot more of the pendulum swing in that free trading course I mentioned earlier. But think of what that pendulum swing is. If we can break that level on strength, then we go out and we dig right in and we grab that first test right off the low of that channel. Could be a trap, could be a failure, could be a pullback combination. We'll know more of that once we get there here for tomorrow. Last but not least here, how do we sell short as we're going lower? Now, we talked about this on the S&P, right, where we thought that there might be a chance here for us to run down, take out some support levels here. Bears try once, bears try twice. We get that pop up, and then, of course, this sends us right into a new channel, right? Bears come or bulls come over, buyers try to buy the pullback, and we get our failure back down. I'm obviously simplifying this right now, right? But that's kind of the idea on the S&P, and that will definitely be in play here on the Nasdaq as well, right? Buying that two-try failure, finding now that new channel, and then again, waiting for the pop up, roping in these buyers, because again, at that point now, this is not a bull market, right? It's a bull market if they can hold that pullback. If they hold that pullback, then it becomes a bull market. And then, yes, we can go out and buy that first pullback, right? But we've got to get the reversal first. We have to get that momentum turning first, okay? I'll take that trade. I will not buy this first one right here, though. That's going to be risky. That'll be a gamble, right? Might work, might not, right? It probably won't work, though. It'll be a failure into pullback combination. We talked about this already in the S&P. Okay, now, what if, and again, because we have all this open space down here, it's more likely on the NASDAQ that we get a rundown, they hold the pullback, and they blast right through it, right? What do we call these? We call these 1, 2, 3 breakouts or 1, 2, 3 breakdowns. We mark up that low, we mark up that high, we drill down to our faster time frame, and we grab that first test off that high. Where's our target? You got it, first leg. Third leg, right? Pretty simple here so far. Again, I'm trying not to repeat myself too badly here on the setups. If it breaks down and begins to grind, what do we do? We draw it nice and tight. We mark off that high, right? We find those first test traps, failures, pullback combos, right? Off that high. Again, first leg, second leg there. Right? Another one you want to think about down here. Think about this area as an area of resistance, right? We pop down, bears once, bears twice, right? We pop back up. Moving average comes over, buyers come in, try to get long, right? And we sell it back down. That same idea of a breakout pullback, buying off support levels, using the two-try failure. And then again, grabbing those, right, those levels of resistance and shorten it back down again. These are really valid kind of, game plans here for the E-minis as we go lower here. All right, guys. I'm sure there is something I probably missed on this NASDAQ here, the S&P. So make sure you come out and join us tomorrow morning in the trade room, and we'll definitely fill in any gaps on this game plan. How about some crude oil here? How about some oil here right now? Now, at this point, we really have learned a lot about the overall strategy right now. What's the most important factor here on the oil? Well, you could definitely see we're pretty darn bearish. You could definitely see there was a big, strong first leg down. And as always, the first leg and the third leg are usually pretty symmetrical, right? So as you can see right there, it's not a surprise that the oil kind of bottomed out there around 11 o'clock this morning, right at that measured move. You notice how I don't really care about the middle leg, right? The middle leg is always kind of the weird one, right? The oddball. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller. That's why I always tell my students in the trade room, the first leg and the third leg are usually going to be the ones you want to pay attention to. All right. What I think is very interesting here is that you'll notice that big move down into that measured move. You would think, right? You could draw a trend line off those lows, bring that trend line up around this high, and you would think there'd be a lot of bears up there, right? Trying to sell short up there. And what do you see? Nothing. Well, not nothing, but not enough, right? Definitely not enough. And so this would easily be considered rejection for these bears. There's only one reason why this rejection would be in play here right now. Either the bears really got their mission accomplished. You'll notice we're sitting right at a major prior top, right? That is not a major low, but that 100 big round number, you'll notice, is a major support level here. So either we have the bulls getting ready to revive their bull rally. Come on here, right? Either the bulls are getting ready for a reversal on this, or we may have another scenario right here where nobody wants to sell this low, right? And this is where we can expect to see a little bit deeper pullback here right now. right? Either this is the bulls getting ready for a big reversal higher off that major 100 support, or this is simply just the bears saying, oh, come on, no way. I'm not going to sell way down here, right? Now think about this. Got a range from last Friday, right? This last Friday's trading range. Do you think that we might have a chance here to be attracting more bears if we get up around this area? Absolutely. And this is very similar to the S&P and the Nasdaq. If we crack through this area, then obviously there's a vacuum now that brings us all the way back up to that 109, 110. All right, so there's definitely an area here where kind of that line in the sand up here for the bulls for the bulls and the bears. We are going to have to deal with this trend line coming up, right? That trend line will be kind of a problem here for those bears. Okay, right now though, bears have control momentum. Okay, what else do we know here right now? What else is impacting this? Here's that pendulum swing. My trading range, right? I got my move below, move above. So really, we got to get up in this area to start to really get a good look here, right, at some entries here right now. Now, we're going to kind of put together everything we've talked about so far on this video, because as we go higher, right, bears would love to sell it back down, but buyers can easily grab this thing and take it higher, right? If we go lower, the buyers can easily buy off this low. And the sellers, of course, need to wait for a breakout going lower. If the bears can get that breakout going lower, then we have this wide open space to 95. What you want to keep in mind right now is, because we're kind of in uncharted territory up here, 115, 110, right, 105, 100, 95, 90. Those are going to be the big round numbers, right? Don't go wasting your time on 97, 98, 99. That in my eyes is a waste of time, right? The levels that you want to really pay attention to, the ones that are acting as big time magnets, are that 110 level up top, 105 obviously, 100, and the next one down will be 95 even. You know, oil has always loved big round numbers, and so this will definitely be no different here right now. All right, so how do we buy it? How do we sell it right now? As the market goes higher, we have a definite trend line on our way. How do we short this thing? We wait for the trap, right? 1, 2, and that trap. That's an easy way to sell short. Okay, another way to do this too would be, let's say we go up, we chop around a little bit, we get underneath this trend line. That is another way I can sell this thing short. I can use that trend line as a level of resistance. Just make sure though you're getting into that trade outside of the range, right? Outside of that trading range. Okay, you don't want to be trading inside the range. The range loves to kick out, right? So again, I can use it with that 2 try. Failure with a trap. Okay, or grab it on the underbelly of that channel or of that trend line. Where are my targets? Other side of the range, down at that low. Okay, now do we pop up, run into resistance? 1, 2, 3 reversal. Great. I don't care what direction I trade in. I am not married to one direction. You should not be either. Trap, failure, pullback combo. First leg, third leg. Pretty easy there, right? Pops up, grinds going higher. What do? You mark up that high, nice and tight, anchor off that low, find that what? First channel test, trap off that low, failure pattern, pullback combo, first leg, third leg. Or maybe it just pops, right? Maybe we see some big headline overnight, market jams higher, really jams higher here. Strong move, shallow pullback, higher high in price, traps, baby. Right? That trap will be a money trade. If it spikes up, shallow pullback drives the buyers crazy because everybody wants to buy the pullback. The higher high confirms the move, right? The higher high basically confirms it's not just a V top and coming right back down again, which, by the way, could easily happen, right? It could easily pop up. No one wants to sell down here. The buyers try once. The buyers try. Now, here's a good example. If we have a lot of space to go before we hit that trend line, right? You don't need a trap on this. 1, 2. See, if I can draw a trend line there, right? It's as long as I can get a 1-to-1 before I reach that trend line, I'm fine. But again, it's going to have to be a pretty deep pullback here to get that space opened up. And then again, grab that underbelly on the other side. All right, that'll be I think some really great ways here for us to buy this thing and sell it as it goes higher here. I also think too it's a pretty easy buy off the low, right? If we can retest that low here, get those bears coming in with 1, with 2, right? Where are their stops? Where's that trend line? Where's that trap level, right? And then back up we go. Pendulum swing, right? Pendulum swing. The amount we go below the range is the amount above the range. Okay, I can trade on the way to that pendulum swing. I can now mark up that high, mark up that low, and grab that first test is the best test. 2 try failure because you're going against momentum, right? Into that trap, failure, pullback combo. Where's my target? My target is that pendulum swing. The amount of the move below is the amount of move above, right? Or let's say here we run lower, we pull right back, right, and blast going higher, right? Pendulum swing gets broken. Once I break that pendulum swing, now we know we're bullish here now, right? Now we know it's on at the upside. Mark that high, mark that low, right? Drill down, grab that first test. We see a lot of those, right? Where it kind of spikes off that low, turns right around, breaks right through that pendulum swing, and at that point now you're going, okay, just give me a chance to buy that first pullback. Right? First leg, third leg, help you refine that target here. Right? As we go lower here, they break down, they hold that pullback. 1, 2, 3 break out, mark that channel, short that first test. Right? We break and we grind. That is very, very likely. Right? 95, next target down here. Mark that low, mark that big high, find that trap, grab that first test. All right. So again, we're really kind of putting all these pieces together here we've talked about on this video. So keep your eyes open for that 95 if we can get this thing to push lower here. Right now, though, we've got to get this thing up and see if we can get here. Does it hold? Does it reverse? Or back down to these lows and see if we can buy off that low or push it right through the low with one of those breakout patterns. All right, guys. Hope you learned a lot in this video. Remember, though, learning it is one thing. Actually going out and doing it and earning with it the following day is a completely different ball game. That's why our trade room is such a great shortcut for all of our students. You know, we get together every day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we trade this stuff together. If you're looking for a great place to learn and earn, if you're looking for a way to find more of the best trades each day, or maybe you're sick and tired of killing your account by trying to do it on your own, taking too many losses or too many mental mistakes, right? You're going to love our trade room. We open up every morning. We trade this stuff together. I provide all the entire roadmap, all the cheat sheets, all the checklists, and of course we do it together. And we have some pretty good fun at the same time as well. Don't forget, I'll put all the membership classes, all the free trading classes in the description of this YouTube video. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to call the office. You can always use that live chat in the lower right-hand corner, and you can always drop me a comment in the comment section below. Hope you learned a lot. I know was a long video here tonight, though, but a lot to cover here for tomorrow. The game plan is put together. I will hopefully see you there tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, with all the members in our trade room. If not, make sure you come back and see us tomorrow night. We'll do it all again and get ready for what could be a very wacky Wednesday trading session. Don't go too far. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the trade room. If not, back here same time, same place tomorrow night. As always, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.